So thank you all for joining. It's a great pleasure to have such a great audience after so much of online. I'll be brief, relevant, and useful. I'm going to show three things in today's session. And tomorrow also in the morning, I have another session where I'll cover more topics. Today, we are going to do three broad topics, two about security and one about efficiency. Now, this is something which I had shown this slide, I think, 4 years back in the same event. That time I searched how to break passwords in Google. I got these many responses. I repeated that 2 years back and I got these many responses. I repeated the same search yesterday and I got these many responses. So there is exponential growth in the efficiency of hackers, and that is not matched with the way entire efficiency of the other opposing side of the world is. So passwords are very important, and I'm surprised to know that biggest of IT people, even CISOs, don't manage passwords properly. So please, first step is to manage your passwords properly. Now, how do we currently manage passwords? We have a password policy and there is a change policy and all that. I understand. But then what happens if something is hacked? And it's not only passwords, remember. Very often there are a lot of issues which all of you are contending with. We use, and I'm not going to read all this. All users will find loopholes to make their password change simple, and that makes it even more easy for hackers to manage. Now, it's not only passwords, and that's the important thing to understand. We are not just talking about passwords. There are many other things which are sort of secrets which you have to remember. And many technical people have unnecessary overconfidence, and even non-technical people also, that no, I have a logic which cannot be hacked. Please come out of that. Everything can be hacked unless proved otherwise. So please do not rely on whatever method has worked for you so far. You have to use something better. And what do you use? Some kind of password manager, which will generate the passwords, store them for you, and automatically put them. You don't have to put them at all. Now, which software you use doesn't matter. All password managers use the same concept. They will ask you to remember one complex password, and that's the master password, and everything else is hashed according to that. So, you in practice have to remember one password, and then everything is managed for you. Now, obvious question is, what if their site is hacked? Needless to say, the hash is kept there. Your password is not stored, and you should also not store it at your level. And even if there is hack, it's a one-way hash, so people can't reverse engineer your password. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, what is the process? I'm going to show you a demo of the software called LastPass, but you are free to choose whatever you like. LastPass gives you a vault. By the way, this session is not sponsored by any vendor from any angle. I don't sell any software of any kind. So whatever you like, you use. So it gives you a vault, but very often the biggest first problem happens when you have to generate a password. So once you have this installed, you can generate passwords depending on what you need. It's a very sophisticated password generator. It gives you not just upper lowercase symbols, also the length of the password, and you can go as long as you want there. And it also makes it easy to say if you like, or easy to read. Now, easy to read is like this, and easy to say is like this. And all characters, then it becomes complicated. So now the question is, when I create this password, I am about to fill it in some new site where I'm registering. So you don't have to go here at all. You just go to a regular site, generate this password. In the password box itself, it will get generated. It will be saved by the system. And next time you go, it will autofill it. It's that simple. So you yourself don't know the password in simple terms. So that's the first step. Now, I'm sure you have lots of other passwords. You can import them from all kinds of places. So the process of going and doing this is fairly like this. Go to the site, create the sign in, auto generate passwords, auto save, auto fill, and then very important, you may need to share some logins with someone. It could be family, it could be colleagues, subordinates, customer, whatever. Now, this has a sharing mechanism also where you share the passwords without revealing it to the other party. So it's a safe way of sharing. And of course, you can stop sharing anytime. Now, what happens is this. I'll actually show you what happens. We have imported lots of passwords. So I have hundreds of passwords. I don't remember them. This includes hashes, it includes software keys, it includes various other things which you would otherwise want to keep. For example, you want to keep your passport image somewhere or your Aadhaar card image somewhere. This is a DigiLocker, essentially the same. This works across devices and there is a desktop app as well. Now, this, when you import some things in here, you can import it from all kinds of places. So let me show you all the common places where passwords are usually stored, including various products you can import from, including a CSV in case you want to do that. It will also import passwords which are currently saved on our desktop or mobile, which are very often Wi-Fi passwords. Now, once all this is done, your life is simple. It also supports something called auto refresh. And once it understands what you're doing, what it does is it gives you a secure score and it tells you which passwords need attention. And then if you authorize this software to do it, it will automatically go and change the password because it already knows the current password. It will dynamically use the API, talk to that site, create a new password, save it, and both places it is now done. So you don't need to know what is the new password anyway. So that's really good. Now, the next thing is it also monitors dark web because every now and then you see millions of things hacked. So all those are managed. And in case your accounts are hacked, they will be told saying you need to change the password immediately. You will get a proactive notification, which is also very nice. Now, for various types of secrets, there are templates available, which are really good. So if I say new, I have secure note and bank accounts, driving license, so on and so forth. And of course, you can have free form text as well. So this is the way you manage it. Now, this is having another very interesting feature, which is called death management. When you die, what happens to all your passwords and your net banking accounts and all that? We can't write that in a paper-based will. That itself is a security risk. So this has a facility where you can nominate some people, friends, family, whoever you want, and then you can configure that these two people will get access to my account after whatever cooling period you specify. Now, depending on what you want, you specify. So, if one of them tries to access your vault, you will be notified. If you are dead, you will not go to do anything about it. If you are alive, you block it. So, they will get automatic access to all your digital secrets. So, this is a very good concept, digital will. So, having said that, all kinds of senior people, everyone in IT, and all top management have to use some kind of password manager. Absolutely mandatory. Which one you use, it's up to you. Now, of course, the next step is to do multi-factor. Multi-factor, all of you know. So you have multiple factors and we have to choose two of them and you know the story. But if I ask you, I'm not going to ask you to raise hands because if you raise or don't raise, that itself is a security risk. So don't do anything, don't show any expressions. I hope, very seriously hope, that you have enabled multi-factor authentication for all users, including B2C users. Don't do anything about it, don't respond. If you have not done it, immediately do it. Otherwise, it's a very, very high risk. But the problem there is, yes, by having password itself is painful to people. So that's why my title is Security Plus Productivity. You can't have security at the cost of productivity. Then what's the point? धंधा ही नहीं होएगा तो secure क्या करेगा? So people have to work and they have to do it nicely and securely and in a compliant manner. So of course, password is good. We have been using it, but users hate it, and you have to force them to change it, and then they find loopholes. You know the story. Obviously, two-factor means some kind of OTP, but then you are putting two things, and you need internet. So better option. Basically, what we are trying to do is reduce the friction and increase the security. So, of course, you can use Authenticator app. I am recommending Microsoft Authenticator. I'll explain why. But even if you use an Authenticator app, it will work offline, but still I have to type two things. And I still have to change the password. So it's boring, no? So stop using passwords completely. That's the idea. For which you have to go to passwordless authentication. It's a feature of Azure AD and whatever other directory you must be using for authentication. All of them support passwordless. So whichever provider you have, please enable passwordless. The same authenticator app works and it's a very simple experience. It gives you high security and high convenience. So everyone loves it. So you just sign in, you will be shown a number on your mobile, you'll see three numbers, touch the correct number, and you're in. So please do this for everyone. Now, before you ask me, this is a part of any kind of Azure AD. There is no extra payment for this. Go to authentication methods under Active Directory Security and just add it and enable it for all users. Now, showing it is easy, doing it is not easy because every user is going to resist for installing that app and configuring it. It's a 2-minute job, but doing it for thousands of people is a pain. So that is the correct thing. What is the correct way to do it? I will tell you. But once you do it, the system itself realizes that you are safer now. So it says now you don't need to expire passwords. Microsoft itself will show you that why are you troubling people now with expiration settings? Just remove that because people are not using passwords. Why should they change often? So that's a good thing. So finally, how should you do it? Show this demo to top management first. Only when they understand, they will send a mail to everyone. You don't send a mail. Boss का mail पड़ता है. So उतना करो. And boss will be very happy with this because they also understand security. They are concerned about it and it's less inconvenient for everyone. So please do it as early as possible. So that's about two-factor authentication. And then for physical logging into Windows also, we have Windows Hello. I am sure many of you have done it. But if you want to do facial login, then it requires QL camera. It's not the regular webcam. You require an infrared camera because that is almost impossible to spoof because it keeps track of your temperature, signature, and many other things. But then if you don't have that laptop, you don't have to purchase that or a special webcam. Just use PIN. Many customers even today are logging in on username password on Windows. Don't do that. That's a disaster. You don't even need a hacker to hack it. Anyone sitting with a camera with a phone camera on, sit next to you while you're logging in, they can rediscover your password. Log in, they will not, but you will give them a visiting card which has the log. There's that bad. So please change from username password to PIN. By default, PINs can be managed centrally. It's called Windows Hello for Enterprise, and that can be very beautifully managed centrally. And by default, the width of the PIN is 6. Reduce it to 4. Because whether it is 4 or 6, that small little PIN is safer than the password. Why? Because the PIN never leaves the machine. It is actually kept in the TPM chip. So which is tamper proof. So even if I tell you the password of or rather PIN of my machine, this is the actual PIN of my machine. You'll have to physically sit on my machine, only then it will work. It doesn't travel across the network. That's why it is better. And once you have all this done, then you can go ahead and do conditional access and many other things. So that's about security. Now I'm just going to go and show you a very simple but extremely powerful tool which I myself discovered just a couple of years back, and I was thinking, why did I not know this 20 years back? So it's a tool called Everything. It is a free tool. You can go to its website. It's called voidtools.com and just download it. What does it do? It's a simple file search. Now you'll say Windows already has a file search. Why should I go there? So the problem with Windows is, first of all, the search is slow because it indexes not just the attributes of the file, but also the contents of the file. So that is slow. Now this one is absolutely fast, even on the lowest end machine. As soon as you install, there is no indexing time. You just start searching. And that's the beauty of it. Search is something consciously or subconsciously we spend at least 10-15 minutes every day. And it's not an easy process. So what does it do? Many beautiful features it has. I'm going to show you a few of them. You can explore them on your own. It's a very small install, immediately works. So there are a lot of beautiful things it has available in it. For example, let's get this on the screen. So it just has a very simple interface. You just type what you want. Now, many times we don't know what we want. That's why it is search. Now, notice I want to find a presentation I created in 2007. That's all I remember. How will you do it on Windows? Of course, there is a syntax, but it's slow. So now I'm saying DM means date modified 2007 PPTX. Done. Even while I'm typing, it is searching and giving me results. This kind of performance I have not seen on anything. So start using it. And of course, this is just a very simple example. It has many more sophisticated kind of syntax available. So now it also has beautiful regex if in case you are a technical people and you want to do it. So here are some examples. I know that this file is in that folder, but I don't remember the file name. So I can say folder colon something and then pptx like that. size. Very often we know that there is a file which is very large. Okay, so now I want to find large PPTs. What will I do? I will say PPTX, of course, and instead of DM, what will I say? Size. And size, I don't remember the size, so what do I do? So there are simple kinds of syntax. So very large is called gigantic, and that's it. It will give me anything which is very large. Very, very powerful stuff and extremely fast. It also supports full regex if you want it that way. And it also has some other features like bulk, rename, and so on. It also works on removable drives and network drives as well. So very simple, but extremely useful thing. So that's it. This session is getting recorded. The video will be available at this link. Tomorrow's video will also be available on this link itself. So that's it from me. Tomorrow we are going to do something else. Before that, let me tell you what is the topic for tomorrow. 10 o'clock tomorrow. Hopefully you'll be awake. Hopefully I will be awake first of all. So tomorrow morning, this will be again efficiency plus productivity, but I'll show you 15 best practices mixed of both, which you can directly go and start implementing. Each of the best practice is applicable to every user and it will give you immediate quick wins and immediate time saving plus additional benefits. So that's it from me. I recently also wrote a book because I realized I'm doing this for 30 years, but people are still not getting efficient. So I said, before I die, I must document what I want to tell. So there are 130 best practices every user should know. It doesn't matter what is your role, what is your industry. There are generic best practices which will change everyone's life, whether it's a CEO or a new student who has just joined college. So that's it from me. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Anup, Sanjay, and team for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
Okay.